So now I called the what's it called people and the what do you call it? What are those goddamn people? The people at the shop. And then I figured I was gonna give State Farm. I was gonna give State Farm a little bit of time and then call them back. So I guess I'll call them right now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it you or is it your mom? So you can leave work early. Yeah. What is the um, so because you don't see certain things negatively, that makes her upset. Since things are so not negative, I'm not gonna be your friend no more. It's like, you want me to be sad or something? Things aren't as bad as you think they are on the outside. Yeah. And what does it look like? We have threesomes and put up. It looks like you're being taken advantage of. No, but I mean the thing about people sleeping on your couch, either they're traveling and they can't afford to pay for somewhere else, or they're obviously going through something. So I mean, because the normal person in American society never chooses to sleep on people's couch. The normal person chooses to go get their own shit or choose to be in their own shit. Most people don't even want to live with their parents. Like when people says something, I'm sleeping on the couch or I'm living with my parents, you always know something's up. Something's wrong. And since something is wrong, the place where you are, your parents' house, your couch, whatever, your place where you are, those are the people who are helping you. So when a person's like, you're being taken advantage of, you mean I'm helping somebody? Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, if if they wanted this to be fair and equitable, they would make sure that they paid this specific percent, like 25 at least. Um, that's a, yeah. No, I mean at the end of the day, like I said, you know, I try to give people credit where credit is due. Your mother is willing to help people often, and that's nice. But like I said, your mother is very negative, and it's just fucking annoying. At the end of the day, it's just fucking annoying. When you're negative and like that, and I see, I already know where it comes from. It's annoying. I don't like it. I don't. It's not attractive. It's not cool. It's and apparently you don't disagree. When your mom's real negative to you, she gets on your nerves too. It's just fucking annoying. I'm not trying to. I'm not saying. I'm not beating you up. Oh, shut up. Stop being. Stop being sensitive. I was just speaking. It's. I'm just talking so that I'm accurate, but I don't know. Don't know. But I need to get off the phone with you in order to call them before 6. But hi, Stephanie. I believe my claim number is 110-660-P is in Paul 69. Lacan Byfield. Hey, so I spoke with somebody earlier today. Um, I wanted to get the opportunity to speak to either the adjuster that went out today or somebody who I guess would represent that person or who would know the details of the report. Hmm. Yeah. Yes. All right. Thank you. Hmm. Yeah. Um, my question. Well, I wanted to know if I would be able to speak to one of two things. Either the person who came up with the, because I wasn't there, the person who came up with the, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? The the estimate, or the that did the report, um, or speak with somebody who would, I guess, just fully understand the report so that I could understand it as well. Yes. Well, I was the one in the accident, and that is my fiance, and she's at work, and um, I believe that. Well, I don't believe. I'm sure that I'm the one who filed the claim and started the claim, um, and have also received permission from um, after you guys stated that you guys wanted to speak to the owner or whatever. And she has spoken to you guys throughout all this. Um, but mm, this happened. The latest thing that just happened that caused me to bring it back to the shop, um, to a different shop, though I didn't bring it back to the same shop because apparently, um, I don't know, I'm just a little unsatisfied with the other shop. Um, yeah, I asked several times about the supplemental damage, and if the shop could identify everything and take care of everything, and that just didn't seem to be the case. And we didn't drive the car. Um, like after we got it from the shop, we didn't drive the car right away. Um, we didn't. We After starting to drive the car, um, like I think I had a day off work, or like, my weekend is today, kind of in the middle of the week, and so there were just days that on days that I didn't have to drive the car, like I was just exhausted. I didn't feel like driving, so it just wasn't much driving happening. And then when I finally drove the car, I mean, after I drove the car, I heard like some kind of tick after the accident. I reported it to the people at the shop, the first shop where I brought it. They said, "Oh, that's, like almost like it's in my head. Like no, not so much. There's nothing, wrong other than the physical damage. Like there's nothing that we can say that we can assume came from the accident." I'm like, okay. I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying that I drive the car. I just got the car worked on. I think I've spent like however much, 300 plus something dollars on, you know, getting, what do you call it? Like filters and spark plugs and I forgot the name of it, but like all those things done, as a surprise for my fiance. Like, so look, the car drives smoother now. Like, yay! And I hate to sound like an idiot, hopeless romantic or whatever, but like, when you do little things, you kind of pay attention. You know, when you're spending money, especially when you're spending money on people, like, you kind of pay attention to the results of what's going on. So the car was driving smoother. Things were looking better. Whatever. Not to bore you with a very long story. After the accident, it started driving differently. That simple. It was different, and in it being different, I told that to the people at the shop. I said, well, above all else, like I do want some physical things fixed. They said that they're not accepting responsibility for everything because there were damages to the car before the accident. Totally understandable. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, well, the main thing is I want you to make sure that all issues driving are fixed, that are fixed from the accident. Um, I don't want the car to drive any different than it was driving before the accident. Can we do that? The guy says, I don't see any supplemental damages from the accident. Okay, fine. So they fix whatever. We pay them, get the car back, and after finally driving it just a little bit, um, I take the car to the leasing office. Like I'm just doing regular everyday stuff, and in like reversing from the leasing office, this loud crack, boom, crash, all this shit is going on in the car. I pull the key out of the car because I think it's gonna explode. I pull the key out of the car. I hop out of the car and like get a couple feet away, and the car is still humming. Well, the reason I pulled the key out of the ignition is because the noise it was making. But after I did that, the car was still making the noises, still humming, still yelling. I didn't realize it was the fans, like rattling and touching and smashing against each other or whatever. And the car was shaking. So it was a lot of that going on. I was very scared. I mean, I reversed at like 2 miles an hour. That is zero impact. Like, I didn't touch anything when this was happening, at the time of it happening and when it happened. I didn't expect it to happen because nothing had happened to the car before that. Sound funny, which I had complained about before. And yeah, so after that, I look under the car. While on the hot pavement, I had to lay down on the hot pavement, by the way, to do this. I'm looking at the car, burning my hands and my chest, and I'm looking like, oh, ooh, okay. And I see plastic on the ground, and I didn't understand, exactly what could have broken or what that could have been. I said, okay. Uh, I saw what it was. I waited for the noise to stop. I checked out to see, what do you call it? What no, what it could have possibly been or whatever. Um, got the car in neutral, pushed it up to another parking spot, whatever. Um, and told my fiance, we're gonna have to bring it back to the shop. Wasn't aware what it was. Put the key back in the ignition, kind of just listened to it, tried to see what it was. I saw that the fans actually I took the key out of the ignition once it kind of started again. I didn't realize it was the fans at first, but when I heard the loud woo, That's I pulled the key back out of the ignition. The fans kept going. They did not stop for like 5 some odd minutes, and I was just watching it. I even got a little video recorder of it, for I guess video evidence or whatever, just to know what it was, to identify. And it was just that was the issue. And so in bringing it to the shop, getting it towed to the shop, I said to myself, uh, you know, this car's got a shitload of problems. It's just a problem. It's a headache, whatever. But I got to get it fixed because in Georgia you need a car. I asked the guy first question, what would cause something like this? He said, "Oh, an impact of some sort. We see this all the time, some kind of impact." I said, "Really?" Well, other than the one accident that happened July 4th now, um, there has been no impact. So I'm like, okay, like what do you mean by like impact or whatever? Like something knocking it out of place, something knocking it into it, whatever. Like an impact. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll bring it back to you guys, or I'll bring it back to you guys' attention to address it because it didn't get fixed, and that's what I wanted to get fixed. I wanted to make sure that all the things that were affected from the accident got fixed, and apparently the other shop. Uh, I don't like calling names or being whatever, but it's just been a really friggin' big headache, and I don't know. Like if like I said to you, when it happened and I'm like upset about it, I was perfectly fine with just paying for whatever it was, or trying to anyway, pay for whatever it was to fix it, just kind of addressing the problem and fixing the problem. But when they're saying that the problem comes from uh, an accident or an incident, impact of some sort, um, and I tried to get it fixed through the accident and the incident. Even though like you guys got us in a rental car and stuff like that before, like this stuff has cost me money. Like like I've had issues behind this and other stuff. Like it affects in other ways that aren't just easily figured. Like you can't just. I'm sorry. Long story short, I don't understand one how a professional and a specialist can say that this is the source of your problem. This is the cause of the issue. And then you guys send somebody out and they say, oh no, that has nothing to do with it. To me, just that alone, to make a very long story short, that alone does not scientifically make sense. Either the mechanic is lying, which for some odd reason had no idea why I was bringing it there, so I don't know why he'd lie like that, or there's just a disconnect. And that's why I kind of wanted to know if I would have been able to speak to the adjuster who came to that conclusion, so I could get the details on how um, a problem caused by an impact isn't caused by the impact. Because I will be 1,000 or 100%, no need for any extras, 100% honest with you in telling you that no other impact or accident has happened after the one that took place. So I'm feeling a disconnect. Mhm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm aware. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, like I said, I'm only somebody who is really good in science class. I am not a specialist. I'm not pretending to be, but just through understanding of science, basic public education, when if something happens, or I don't know, me being a professional boxer for some years, something happens if you hit a person, say, in their sternum, right? And I know this isn't the same thing, but if you hit a person in their sternum isn't their lungs, it isn't their heart per se, but it has an effect on the heart and the lungs. So if you hit a person there, you can break down their breathing. You can break down uh, possibly like the repetition in the flow of blood or whatever. You kind of throw their body off in damaging them, as well as cause bruising and whatever else you're trying to do in that boxing match. You are causing damage. Now, this damage isn't like super visible right away, but you are causing damage from the beginning of the fight that'll last later on in the fight, and that will possibly cause, you know, enough damage to knock them out or something, whatever, break them down. Um, Saying that there's no damage to the interior left side, I was like, yeah, I get that because the car was running fine after the damage to the left side. That's fine. Um, and for whatever deterioration was happening, naturally, with the car, I addressed that. I went and I got the car worked on and looked at and got maintenance, basic maintenance. Um, then after the incident of the impact to the right side of the front car, there were issues. There were issues that were happening um, on the with the driving of the car. The car was not driving the same. Um, as far as the uh, the shop that we took it to, the things that they were willing to address, and the price that they gave us was just ridiculously different than the adjuster. Like they were for the body work of the damage of just the damage of the accident. I think the adjuster came and priced it out at 1,400. They priced it out at 3,300 and something. And that was after I was like, "Is that all the body work?" They were like, "No, that's like you the right side." And I was like, "Whoa, yeah, no, that wasn't that's not what they priced out." I was going to address certain things. I mean, there was actually another accident that, like you said, the car was hit in other areas of the car, and I wasn't in the car when that happened, so I didn't address that. My fiance was in the car when that happened, and she's totally ignorant to all things cars as well as car accidents. as well as car accidents and insurance and getting an attorney and like all of these things. She's totally new to. So the case just didn't get handled. To be honest, she's like still handling it, but it's horrible. Okay, so nothing has been done about it, and nothing got addressed about that. So I was going to leave it up to the rest of what's going on in her case to fix up the rest of the body work due to their astronomical price quote that they gave us. Um, what we did get fixed was the things that they claimed to be, making noises and to make the car kind of run better. Um, and do that stuff. But when I asked them about supplemental damages, um, what do you call it? That were because of the incident, because of the accident, they said nothing. They said, "Oh, we can't like." There's nothing that we can think of that was affected by that, and so pretty much it's like, okay, well, they're not going to charge you guys for any of it. They're just going to charge us for it. And so I said, fine, whatever. We'll pay for it. And we'll just, we'll bite the bullet. We'll take everything else. We'll just, we'll take it. We'll figure it out as we go. And we'll take one on the chin. Whatever. It is what it is. But for this to happen, like very shortly after driving it, because I honestly, the car wasn't even being like after we took it out of the shop, like I want to say it was driven like 4 days a week for both weeks if it was out of the shop for 2 weeks. So about 8 days of driving, no incidents, and all of a sudden, boom boom, all this craziness happens, and then the guy says that happened from an incident. I mean, it happened from an impact. I honestly, that's what I would think is possible if the guy who the mechanic didn't say with like 100% surety this happens from impact. Like I don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I wasn't open to whatever. Like it's almost like if your doctor tells you like, you gotta stop sprinting because you got shin splints. Like that happens when you're running. Like there's a possibility that it could happen from people banging on your shins with drumsticks. I don't know, maybe, but the specialist is sure that it happens from running, so you stop running. I mean, that I don't know for whatever time being. Like that's my understanding of it. That's why I'm lost. Like I'm not saying that nothing else is possible, but what I'm saying is I don't understand how the adjuster, who's apparently a specialist, somehow has a total disagreement without an explanation from the other mechanic, who's also a specialist and has understanding of it. Mm-hmm. That's when the break occurred. Yes. Um, I don't know. The 20th, the 21st. The body. Nothing was done to the body. The repair, the repairs were done, but the body work was not. before the loud noise, that the loud noise of the braking, but the the so-called supplemental damage um, that I asked the mechanic of the other shop to address wasn't addressed. Hmm. Hmm. Well, I mean, keep in mind, he said nothing happened. Like, that's what the guy that I wish I what's his name? Like, I don't even remember his name, like Jerry or something. I wish I would have wrote it down. I didn't know that it would be an issue in dealing with that shop. But whatever the guy's name was, like, was telling me that there is no inside damage was done to the car from the accident. And I told him I totally disagreed because I heard the car before and I heard the car after. And I drove the car before and I drove the car after. There was obviously something affected. I did not, I didn't know exactly what it was. Like, I'm not a mechanic, but something was affected. Um, and it's probably multiple things, but in all honesty, I don't know what they are, so I can't. How do I argue that? Um, but when this happens, I simply ask another mechanic. You go to get a second opinion. Um, well, now this is broken, and this happened, and this happened. And I explained to him the way I explained it to you. All I was doing was just reversing 2 miles an hour, like very, very slow, and out of nowhere, like as soon as I don't even like, I can't even explain like because nothing happened. Honestly, yeah. I um I thought to myself, oh, it's a broken piece of plastic. How much does it cost to fix the fan? They say you can't just fix the fan; it has to be repaired in its entirety, and so therefore you have to address the entire thing. And they did give me the, what do you call it, the uh, he was ballparking it. I don't know. It was like eight or nine something, 8 or 900 something. And then I asked him if there were any alternatives, uh, or any less expensive alternatives, and they said they were just gonna address it with you guys. And I'm like, okay, like, you sure there aren't any less expensive? I mean, like, any alternatives? And he's like, oh, we're gonna address it with the insurance people because yeah, it was done from an impact, and so it doesn't make sense that we sit here and we look for all this other stuff without just addressing it to whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Um, the AAA shop and the I don't know if he's like the lead mechanic or who he is, but the mechanic from AAA, I've really he was just a chunky, large Caucasian guy. I don't know his name. Um, and the guy that was working with him out in the front, who was like a mechanic rep, Kevin. I didn't ask him his name, so I don't know what it is, honestly. Um, Did you listen to what I said? This is I said it like 2 times. I They had done repairs. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this like I'm trying to speak clearly. I don't know. People say they can't hear me sometimes. Can you hear me right now? Okay. Okay. All right. What had happened in at the first repair shop was I brought it to them. I told them that